Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we have some important stuff to talk about when it pertains to Starfield. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have already all seen the Daniel Owens video showing that the Nvidia stack, at least the 30 series cards, even the 40 series cards, are just not performing as well as the AMD counterparts. So, I'm pretty sure the Nvidia bros are going to start running wild soon, talking about Bethesda gimping the game for Nvidia cards. But if we look at this realistically, and this is the same thing I looked at when I came over to AMD from Nvidia, every single Nvidia card has had their bus bitrate cut dramatically. If you're looking at the 60 series, they are 128-bit bus now. If you are looking at the 70 series, they are 192-bit bus. They have been cut back. Nvidia skimped out on the 40 series cards, just like they skimped out on the 30 series cards. So it is I'm not surprised. I'm absolutely not surprised that the AMD cards, even last generation AMD cards, are beating the Nvidia cards. I'm not surprised at all. And if you're surprised, and you're getting mad, and you're going to start blaming Bethesda, I don't know, man. I'm not a professional when it comes to the PC thing, but I can see the writing written all over the wall, man. I could see it. When my 3080 stopped performing as well as it did when I first got it, I knew immediately, no, dude, I've been suckered. No, man. Newer games starting to come out, and it was already making the 3060 Ti that I had look bad, so I upgraded to the 3080. I know what you guys are thinking right now. And I'm in the same boat too. I mean, I can run the game at 4K. I get 45 to 80, 90 frames a second. Depending on the area, depending on what's going on, it ranges from 45 at native. If I turn on FSR, it's still kind of the same thing. It still ranges from 40 all the way up to 100 frames a second or whatever at 4K. To me, I'm in an acceptable range because I came into the 7900 XT with the mindset that this card is a 1440p card. I came into it with that mindset. And when I play it at 1440p, I'm getting a way better frame rate. I'm getting a really good experience. I've got a flat line across my graph. It's fine. I'm enjoying Starfield. But there's some Team Green guys out there. The Nvidia bros are struggling with this game. And, you're not going to convince me that my AMD card is bad. I'm sorry. I bought this as a 1440p card, and it blows the doors off Starfield at 1440p. When I turn it on to 4K, yeah, it's still playable. It's definitely still playable, and it still looks significantly better at 4K than it does on the Xbox at 4K with the maximum settings. So you're not going to convince me that I made a bad decision by going with AMD. And no, AMD, I do not feel like Bethesda went out of their way to make the Nvidia cards look bad. I just don't believe that. I really don't believe that. But on the other end, they were developing this. Here's my thoughts for the whole AMD thing. I mean, if they get into putting the Nvidia stuff in there at a later date, fine, whatever. It does suck that it's not there at launch. I do feel for you guys not having your frame generation and all of that stuff. I do, not being able to utilize DLSS. I do feel bad. I do feel your pain. I promise. I do. I would be pretty upset if I would have went with a 4080 and still and had to rely on full native to run this game. I would. So I'm not saying that's bad, but I mean, Nvidia's the best. Remember, they shouldn't have these problems. Their cards should just be able to brute force right through anything, because that's the way I feel that the Nvidia guys talk to me. Nvidia's better than AMD, and I'm like, okay, well, if Nvidia is so good, then your card should definitely be able to just brute force right through everything. You shouldn't even need DLSS. You shouldn't need any of this stuff. All of that stuff is just the cherry on top, they say. Well, the cherry on top happens to be a necessity for everything. Like it's not a cherry on top, it's an actual necessity to play these games. And let me just be completely honest with you, man, because it doesn't seem like anybody in the PC space wants to be honest about anything. PC gaming is a scam. If you want to play newer stuff that's coming out, it's an absolute scam. They are way overcharging us for these products, because if you think about this, I mean, even this ROG Ally, $700 for that thing, and it should be the price the Nintendo Switch was when that first came out. Absolutely, this thing is absolute garbage on new games. I won't even run Starfield. It keeps shutting off after like a minute or two into that. It just shuts off. It's like, well, I mean, I ain't playing that. I will never buy another handheld again. This was an experiment for the channel to see how it would go. I will never buy one of these things again. Like this is terrible. This is a terrible experience. It'll play old games just fine, just like PC. I would say PCs are always a generation or two behind the new games. So with the 60 series, you'll be able to play your Starfield at 4K with all the bells and whistles, everything. So you might want to just hang on till then. If 4K is your thing and that's what you've got to have, yeah, dude, these graphics cards are behind. And it's a scam. It's a scam. Like, I could play anything from the PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, 360 generation, easily. Flying colors. Like these cards will run those no freaking problem. They are top of the line. When it comes to the new games, no, man, we're put back in the FOMO stack of, oh my gosh, man, oh my gosh, and it is what it is. It is what it is. I I like PC gaming. I think it's awesome, but at the same time, we always hear this, oh, it's unoptimized, it's unoptimized. Okay, well, these developers have went back and fixed these games, guys. Tell me how many of these games have been actually re-optimized and run better than what they ran, significantly better. What our expectations are of how our cards should run. Like, let me rephrase this. With our expectations of how these games should run on our hardware, when was a game ever re-optimized and hit your expectations? Answer that in the comments section. Answer that for me. All my PC friends. What game? You name the game that came out on your specific hardware and you said that game was trash and it was unoptimized. You tell me, after all the patches and all the fixes and all the driver updates and all of that, when did it ever hit your expectations? I'll tell you when. When you bought a new GPU. When you bought a next generation GPU, that's when it started hitting your expectations. And it's simple. These games are not unoptimized. When they come out, they're optimized. They're pretty optimized. You know, I mean, most of them are built for a console. They're pretty optimized on the console. You get your 4K, your 30, whatever. And then you get your PC where you can play around with whatever settings you want, and you can try to tinker around with that and play with the settings to get it to your liking on your specific hardware that you bought. Yeah, guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want to enjoy the video games. I do. I'm having a good time with Starfield. I'm having fun with this game. It runs just fine for me at 1440p. I have zero complaints at 1440p. I really don't have many complaints at 4K either. It seems to be okay. Like, I could play that at 45 frames a second. I can turn off VRR and I can actually play this game, and it feels like a smooth, not VRR, but I could turn off the frame counter and it feels fine. It feels fine. Like it's okay. I'm not having a big problem with it. I'm actually fairly happy with this one, man. I'm actually fairly happy with the way Starfield turned out. Now, everybody can say it's buggy and it's broken and it's not optimized or what. Okay, whatever, man. You're throwing a 3070 at it that essentially, you know what I mean. You're throwing a 3070 or a 3060 Ti or a 4060 at this thing, and I don't know. I watched a little bit of Daniel Owen's video too, and I was just like, wow, dude, that really sucks, man. I really do feel bad for them, for the 30 series people, and now you know why I bang on and bang on and bang on and bang on about my AMD experience being good, because it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. 1440p, no problem. Boom, out the door. High refresh rate. Almost everything I've played. Everything I've played at 4K, 40 plus frames a second at ultra settings without using any upscaling. I say that's a win, man. For what I paid for that card, that's a win for me. That's a win for me. I never got that type of experience with the 3080. You know, and I mean, like, granted, this card is a generation newer and has more power. Like, I'm pretty happy with that, because now we're getting next generation games that are not built for old generation hardware, and my card is doing pretty good. I'm generally happy. If I turn on FSR, I can get up to 60 frames a second on my on 4K. I'm generally happy with this card. Every single game that's come out since I bought it, no problems. No problems. Having a good frame rate at 4K and having an excellent frame rate at 1440p. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Now, I get the whole Nvidia thing, man. Like I do. I get it, bro. Like, why do you think I left Nvidia, man? Like, I'm not playing Nvidia's games. I'm not going to keep filling the FOMO, buying their garbage, buying their man-made limitations. I'm not doing it no more, man. I'm not doing it with Nvidia. Like, I will eventually have another Nvidia card, you know, for testing on the channel, but I'm in no hurry to go out there and get one. My AMD card so far has been, yeah, it's been good. I like it. I like playing around with this thing, man. It's such a better experience, man. Like, I don't have to sit and troll on Twitter. These games are unoptimized all the time. I don't have to do that no more, man. Like, I feel like my games are running better on the AMD card. I don't have to make videos all the time, you know, trashing the games, being like, man, this is so unoptimized. I'm playing it. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm sorry that you're having a hard time with that Nvidia stack, bro. Like, I get it. Why do you think I switched to Nvidia, bro? I mean, why do you think I switched to AMD? It's interesting. It is interesting to see the, you know, which side complains the most about unoptimized games, about stutter struggle, about all these other things, man. It's interesting to see which side complains the most, and it seems to always be the Nvidia bros that are always complaining, always mad, always like, yeah, man, I bought the best, I should get better. No, dude, you bought a lie. You bought the marketing, you bought the PR, you bought the nonsense, man. You bought, that's what you bought into, man. And I'm not saying AMD's any better. I mean, obviously they do their things too, you know, like, yeah, man. But I mean, I've found that the recommendations for the AMD cards have been a little bit more on point. I mean, they recommend a 7900 XT and, you know, a 77 or 7800X 3D or whatever for 4K 60. I've got the 5900X and the 7900 XT, and I get, you know, 45 to 80 frames a second native with Starfield. So I feel like I'm in that bracket for what they recommended. I feel like I'm pretty close, and to me, I feel better about that than them saying like, oh man, yeah, you want like, what was it, man? It was, gosh, for like 1080p 30 or 1080p 30 was the recommendations for a 3070 on what was it called? Plague Tale Requiem. And I bought that 3080 and I was like, ooh boy. I could barely get like a playable frame rate at 1440p on the 3080. I'm like, oh my gosh. Wow, but I was okay with 1440p. You know, that's what I bought the card for, was the 1440p. But then, gosh, dude, it started falling short, man. I'm at a point, like with PC gaming and gaming in general, that like I'm just so sick of the marketing nonsense. Like this is really honestly the way I feel. I'm so sick of the marketing nonsense and never delivering on those promises until like a generation later. Like I'm so sick and tired of it, man. Like it's absolutely crazy. And then you got people that will defend it till they like, don't defend any of this, man. Like, be realistic with it. I knew the 30 series wasn't going to do next-gen games. Like, I just knew that. I could just feel it once the game started, completely dropping way low on the 3080. I knew immediately that I had to do something next generation. I had to, just so that I could have a playable experience. So far, the 7900 XT is delivering on what I thought the 3080 should have gave me. I mean, if we're being realistic, that's what I thought the 3080 was going to be able to give me. I really didn't see myself upgrading that 3080 until the end of this generation. To be completely honest with you, I really wasn't a mindset like I didn't care. And now I'm just like, wow, dude, this sucks, man. I imagine all the people that are out there just wasting their monies, and I understand now why these PC channels get so big, because there's so much confusion out there in the PC space. Nobody knows what to buy. Nobody knows what to do. Everybody is just, and there's so much fanboyism going on out there that it's absolutely insane, man. Like it wasn't the fanboys or the marketing or anything else that put a bad taste in my mouth for Nvidia. It was Nvidia. It was Nvidia, man. Like the man-made limitations for the 30 series cards. That really showed me exactly what kind of company Nvidia is. They want your money and they will cheat you any way they can to get it and make you feel like you've got to buy more. You got to buy more. And Jensen even said it. The more you buy, the more you spend. It all clicked with that 3080. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We started a new channel to review other products other than video games. There will still be tech on there. There's a link in the description for Mr. and Mrs. Frog reviews. I want to try to bring that same intensity that we do for the reviews for the video games and stuff, and that down-to-earth real thought. So, if you like I said, man, we'll see you guys, and hope you guys join that channel as well.